All right, talking about your money now. Should you work with a financial advisor? Only about 32% of Americans do, but there may be situations when the average person can benefit. So Stefanie O'Connell Rodriguez, host of the Money Confidential podcast, is here to talk a little bit more about this with us. So Stefanie, I talked about getting a financial advisor with my husband, but I felt like, we don't have enough money. I always thought it was for people with a lot of cash.
Yeah.
Is that true?
It depends, right? So the word financial advisor is actually a really broad term. It can mean so many different things. So when people think to themselves, I could really use some help with my money, I encourage them to ask themselves, what specifically is the help they need? Is it behavioral? Is it just that I have a tendency to overspend?
Right.
Is it that I have difficulty talking with my partner about money? In that case, you might need to actually work with a financial therapist or maybe a coach or even just getting a book, just some accountability tools.
Right.
But if you're looking for more specialized advice, if you're looking for investment advice, maybe you could use a hybrid where, you're really managing your money pretty well on your own, but you're not really sure what to pick within that 401k.
Yeah.
And so maybe you use a robo-advisor who can make suggestions and nudge you to build a better portfolio. Or maybe you have come into some money, maybe an inheritance, and maybe you do want to set up a one-time meeting with an investment advisor to really maximize that money in a really tax-smart way. But if we want to talk about the bigger picture, if we want to talk about how do I make my money goals support my life goals, and this I think is mostly true with big life transitions, let's say approaching retirement or having children, that's where I think more comprehensive financial advice and financial planning comes into play, because it's not just about maximizing your investments.
Right.
It's about your insurance coverage. It's about what is your budget support. It's about your estate plans. Financial planning is much broader than just what's in our investment portfolio.
So how do you know, though, that a financial advisor is working in your best interest? Are there rules to ensure that happens?
Yeah, so what I recommend people look out for is what's called the fiduciary standard. And registered investment advisors, certified financial planners, these people are held to a fiduciary standard, and that means that person is obligated to work in your best interest. Now, this might feel like it should be pretty self-explanatory when you hire a financial advisor, they're working in your best interest. But there's a difference between a fiduciary standard and what's called a suitability standard, where they can recommend a product that's suitable for you, but maybe not the absolute best, most optimized product for you. And so that's why that regulated fiduciary standard is what I look out for and what I suggest people ask when they hire a financial advisor.
Very interesting. So you're not ready for a financial advisor, but you feel like you could need some help.
Yeah.
Do you have options?
Of course. Especially online, these days there are so many tools available that you can get in the palm of your hand. And what I love about apps, whether it's a budgeting app or a debt payoff app or some broader money management app or investing app, is that the phone is the ultimate financial tool, just like it's the ultimate tool for everything else, right?
It's my life.
Everywhere with you.
Yeah.
And there's ultimate accountability. So let's really maximize that. The barrier to entry to accessing a lot of financial information and advice has lowered so much over the course of the last decade thanks to this technology.
Right.
And so we can really start figuring out, again, what is the thing I'm needing help with? Is it my budget? Is it my debt payoff plan? Is it managing my investment portfolio? Is it figuring out my insurance? And then we can go and find the tools that suit us right there in the palm of our hands. And then those tools can also tell us, hey, you might need more specialized personalized advice, and this is where you can go to get that.
I love that as sort of a first step, because I think people get emotional and sometimes embarrassed when it comes to talking about money and their relationship with money. And I think that technology kind of makes that a little easier. That's a great first step. And then you can, graduate onto someone that is right in front of you, and you can confess your financial sins to them and they can help you. Stefanie O'Connell Rodriguez, thank you so much.
Thank you for having me.